Aries, hello. How are you? We're going to do your reading for the week of April 18th. And this one's kind of interesting because we're kind of sandwiched on both sides by some pretty interesting lunations. So last week we had the full moon in Libra, and you're getting the release card. So full moons typically involve some sort of surrender or release process. It's a closing out of a cycle, right? Well, next week we have the first, well, not the first, I guess. We had an eclipse back in November of 2021 in Taurus, and we're having a new moon eclipse in Taurus next week. So, and you're getting the blue moon. So also a very big event for Aries here. Now this week, we're kind of just, we're in eclipse season here. We've entered into that as of, I believe, the new moon in Aries. So we're kind of in this interesting squeeze right now. And you have open to infinite possibility here with the starfish. You can see all those tiny legs poking out that help the starfish move around. So there's a lot of feelers out right now for you, Aries. There's also a lot of potentials. Like there's a multitude of directions that things could go in, right, at this time. It's kind of like, could feel like everything's all up in the air, right? So we're going to look into and see what's going on for you. Usually we'll get one big theme that shows up, and I'll look at it from both a love and a career standpoint. But you can certainly adjust it based on your personal experience, right? So be sure to hit that like button, share, comment, subscribe. It's all very helpful to the channel. Activates that algorithm nicely, so I appreciate that energy. Be sure to also check your other placements, because the scenario that comes through here might not specifically resonate with you. Maybe your rising sign happens to be stronger at this particular time, or maybe your moon sign, so check them out. Let's see what's going on. I do feel like there's been a lot of transformation here for you, Aries. You've had actually quite a bit going on in your sign. We're just coming out of Aries season, which is a big deal for you. We also have Chiron has been in your sign for some time, so that's a lot of pressure for everyone, but specifically Aries, right? What else? We just had our Mercury just came out of Aries, went into Taurus. So there's been a lot of activity in your neck of the woods here. All right, let's see what we got here. We got some interesting and some somewhat difficult energy here. We have the Seven of Cups, the High Priestess, and the Three of Cups here in the release area in the past week for that full moon in Libra. This week we have the Devil, the Temperance card, and the Knight of Cups. Could be some interesting, passionate stuff going on here. Perhaps with another fire sign, maybe a water sign here. We're getting quite a bit of water. And at this eclipse, which this is just like the teensiest little screenshot basically of what's coming up, because eclipses, that energy lasts for months, right? We have the Nine of Swords, Three of Swords, Nine of Wands. There's definitely something here. I feel like there's maybe something kind of haunting you a little bit here. It might not actually be a physical event that takes place, but there's something really weighing on you. You can see in this depiction of the Nine of Swords, she's kind of got this interesting, like almost like apparition or ghost above her. It's like this lady in red. So it kind of feels like there's just something maybe weighing on your mind at this time. Some fears popping up here, especially with the Devil, Nine of Swords, showing up here together. This Nine of Wands, though, it's like you're really powering through this. So we're going to see what that specifically applies to when we clarify. Bottom of the deck, we have the Eight of Wands, the Ace of Cups, the Queen of Wands. I do feel like you're, wow, Nine of Pentacles. So, and then we get the Moon. So these lunations are a big deal for you in particular. We have the Nine of Pentacles, Seven of Wands, the Queen of Wands. I really feel like you're standing very strongly in your own power here. Now you could certainly, again, be dealing with another fire sign, but I do feel like you're just really passionately going after the things that you deserve here. Really in this strong, independent energy. So that actually feels really good. With the Eight of Wands directly at the bottom of the deck, there could certainly be a lot of communication coming in here, movement. Something is definitely shifting, right? So let's dive into the specifics a little bit more here, see what's going on. I do feel like with the Seven of Cups here, the High Priestess, and this release energy showing up here, we've had that Neptune-Jupiter conjunction in the sign of Pisces, and that's showing up very strong here. This ability to just surrender something here. In fact, you can kind of see just how similar these two cards are in the way, just the body language of these two ladies here, right? It's like chest wide open, relinquishing something. So I do feel like there's something going on here that's like, it could be a little bit confusing. It could be that the details aren't quite, or weren't quite making a whole lot of sense, but it's almost like you just went with the flow here. And I feel like that's because there wasn't really another choice. We have the Seven of Cups, the High Priestess, and the Three of Cups. Let's look at this. Seven of Cups. We have the Three of Wands. So that fits in nicely with this, you know, the potential's everywhere. Which way am I going? I could go left, right, north, south, right? With all these different, like, legs showing up on the starfish here, these feelers. And that's kind of what I'm getting here. It's like the potential moving forward is wide open. And it could be that in this past week or so, leading up to that full moon, that it was like, well, I don't even know where I'm going. I don't know what's next. I don't know what to do. The details are not, yeah, Two of Swords. I can't even see which direction to go here. So it looks like that's part of the experience that's been happening here. With the High Priestess, we have the Ten of Wands. So there's definitely a release here. We're putting down this burden. We're letting it go. We're laying the load down. We're just like, it's like, give it to God, or whatever saying that makes sense to you. Let's see. Wow. And now you could certainly be dealing with a Pisces. You know, perhaps you had to relinquish some connection with a Pisces. Doesn't have to be, but something on your intuitive level, your inner feminine, whether you're male or female, was kind of urging you in this direction, into the kind of unknown here as well. I want to get one more there. We have the King of Wands. So for some of you, this could be a partner. We did have the Queen of Wands there at the bottom of the deck. So both King and Queen here. For some of you, because the King of Wands here is like a king of action taking, it's very much like, I'm passionate about this, I'm going to do something about it. With it showing up here, it could be that you kind of just had to lay down that action taking part of yourself. It's like, because there was no direction, you just had to put it down. So that could be related to anything, right? Any sort of detail in your life. Could have been a relationship, perhaps where I want to move. Maybe it's a career choice. It's like, it was so unclear as to what to do, you just had to set down any sort of action at this time. With the Three of Cups, this can talk about reconciliation energy. This is celebration as well. We have the Queen of Pentacles. So you could be dealing with a Capricorn. We do have that showing up here strongly. And the Four of Pentacles. Now for some of you, this is about security, stability, long-term stability here. And you may have been in a long-term, at least somewhat stable, or it felt stable to you at one point, relationship here. And it does look like some of you here have had to kind of release the idea or the desire to reconnect here with someone. It does to me feel like, for some of you, I don't know why this is coming through, but for some of you, if you've had a lot of friends that have kind of been encouraging you to keep fighting for something, I feel like that's standing out here. It's like perhaps you had some friends that were like, don't let this person out of your life. Don't let them leave. I feel like you had to kind of, like that was kind of keeping you going a bit. It was almost like it was supporting this endeavor to hold on to a dynamic. Maybe it was even a job, right? And you just had people in your friend zone or family that were really encouraging you to just keep going. I feel like at some point, even that had to be released. It's like it didn't measure up and you had to let whatever this thing is go. Now for some of you, I mean, it's showing up here, so I'm going to mention it. But for some of you, you've definitely been dealing with a partner that was keeping a lot of things hidden, was keeping things confusing. There may have been suspicions that there was you and 3 other people, you know, in their dating scene, and they weren't making a choice. They weren't choosing you. They weren't even choosing them. They were just not making a choice at all. And if that's the case, I do feel like you've had to let this person go because you want something stable. You want a dynamic that does not involve a bunch of third parties, right? So that might very basically be the experience that you've had. So let's look at this week. Starfish Spirit, open to infinite possibility. I do feel like there's some healing here around maybe some toxic situations or even behaviors, maybe even like an addiction here. And when I say addiction, it doesn't have to be drugs or alcohol. This can just simply be like like an addiction that you have to a person. So if that last scenario I described here, you had to release this person because they weren't making a choice, now I feel like you're just trying to heal from that craving that you have for that person, right? We're just trying to get back into balance here is what this feels like. So that with this, when this Nine of Cups comes along, this potential movement, communication of love here, desire, something that like really opens the heart space, we want to be able to accept that when it shows up. So whether it's like just an opportunity that comes in or there's actually someone specific showing up here. So with the Devil, we have the Five of Wands and the Emperor. Interesting. So this is like extremely controlling behavior showing up here. I kind of get this feeling that like any sort of communication or like if you ever tried to speak up to this person about what you felt like wasn't right, they just tried to squash that like a bug. They didn't have the space to hear you. They didn't want to know that you were discontent, you know? It's like, this not only resulted in a lot of conflict within yourself, like this was a really big challenge for you, but I feel like anytime, for some reason, there's something about this, like feeling like anytime you even spoke up, this person would just like behave in such a way where they like put their foot down. So if you're dealing with someone that was making you an option, I think even when you tried to say, hey, I don't like this, pick me or get lost, they were just controlling. They didn't want to hear what you had to say. It was their way or the highway. It was kind of this, but it feels like a facade to me. When we get the Emperor, this is, you know, heavy duty control, right? He's the master of an empire. So, but to me, if that's the case, I feel like what you were dealing with, it's like that concrete throne that he's sitting on, it's like it's fake. I also feel like the Emperor is your energy, Aries. It represents Aries. You can see the rams here on his throne. So I do feel like whatever this connection was here, this thing you had to release, whether it was a person or a situation, there's a lot of fight there. Like I was saying, it's like there's this craving for it, or there's this like impulsive need to go back to it, even though you think, or you know you shouldn't, right? It's kind of like withdrawal symptoms almost, and I do feel like you're kind of trying to deal with that this week. It's like you're trying to temper that, and we do have temperance here, so yeah, healing from some regret, some pain, some grief around that. A lot of fives here, and the Two of Pentacles, just trying to come into balance with all that going on. And I also feel like with this Two of Pentacles, there's these moments this week where you're like super strong about it. We saw that very confident, powerful energy here at the bottom of the deck with the Seven of Wands, the Queen of Wands, like just knowing what you want and going for it. And I feel like you're going to find that when you're in this sandwich of these big lunations, right, this week, you're going to go from feeling really powerful and in control of it to feeling like, oh man, I feel really weak and I just want to go back to it. I'm craving it. It's like this, it's a fight. It's an inner fight within you. So I do feel like you're really trying to work this week to just woo-saw and find that balance and just give yourself some time here. With the Knight of Cups, we have the Magician. So you're definitely wanting love here. Look at that. And the King of Cups, like I feel like that's really what you're craving here. And I feel like even though you might be seeking that outside of yourself in a person, maybe it's even a water sign here. We also have some Gemini, Virgo there. But even if you're seeking it outside of yourself, I actually feel like this week you're really just trying to give that to yourself, right? To allow this healing and to kind of cool things down inside your own emotions and feelings here. Because I think that you've recognized that what you've been dealing with in the past, it's dead, done, over with. It has to be let go of. And you're kind of at this point opening to the potential that there's someone else out there, or there's something else out there that will be more emotionally satisfying for you. So it's kind of, we're just in this like healing zone this week. Now next week for the eclipse, you have the blue moon. It says, believe in the impossible. And it's funny, open to infinite possibility and then believe in the impossible. So I really feel like you're trying to open yourself wide up to things outside of your current experience, right? We have the Nine of Swords, Three of Swords, Nine of Wands. So there's definitely a lot of difficult mental energy here, a lot of thinking, a lot of restless nights, having a hard time sleeping, maybe even having like some pretty wicked dreams based on all these emotions that are going on for you. The Nine of Swords, yeah, just in that head, stuck in that head. And Judgment. So you be careful of this. It could be really easy at this time while going through like these withdrawal symptoms to be questioning yourself. Oh God, did I make the wrong choice? And really get wrapped up in your head about that. And not just like, oh no, did I make the wrong choice, but also judging yourself for the pain that you're feeling. Like, well, if I'd have known better, this would have never happened, or I should have never done this, and then I wouldn't be feeling like crap. So be really gentle here. It's gonna get hard, I feel, but you know, that's why we're doing this reading, so that you have the heads up that it could be easy to get stuck in your head and really be harsh with yourself. With the Three of Swords, we have Justice and the Queen of Wands. So yeah, there's this feeling here that what you're experiencing is really unfair, right? Like, why am I the one in pain? Why am I the one feeling like confused and, you know, all these things, where it looks like this person from the past just maybe got off scot-free, right? So there's some of that coming up here. With the Nine of Wands, we have the Six of Cups and the Knight of Swords. I do feel like there's this desire here for you to hear from this person. You're wanting an apology. I mean, it shows up here. You're wanting them to express care for what you're going through here. You're really wanting them to understand just what a strong connection that you had and just how bad they messed it up, you know? It looks like to me, you're in this position of feeling like you fought really hard for this and they didn't, right? Nine of Wands, 10 of Wands, like you worked really hard at this, that you put a lot of time and energy and effort into this connection. You have a lot of deep care for this person. And I wouldn't be surprised if when you're going through some of these really difficult emotions, which by the way are normal, so don't beat yourself up, but I wouldn't be surprised if you get a little sharp-tongued and you contact them and let them know just what you think here. Because that Knight of Swords, like, you can see just in the card itself, the speed at which he's moving. I mean, you can maybe see the look on this horse's face. Like, he's seeking retribution. And with that Justice card here, I feel like you might be getting not only stressed out, but you're getting a little pissed here. So, blue moon, that's big emotional energy, right? So, I would just say, looking at this Aquarius, that it looks like, or Aquarius, Aries, excuse me. Maybe you're dealing with an Aquarius. But just looking at this, it just looks like you're going through some stages of grief here, and they're going to fluctuate. And to just, you know, have some care for yourself. Give that love to yourself here, because you're going through a lot right now. It's a lot. It's a lot. Okay? And Eight of Wands, it's a lot. Like, this is overwhelm. This is, you know, trying to drink from a fire hose. So it could feel very intense here, right? So just be mindful of that and expect that you might need a little more TLC this week. I know that wasn't a super exciting reading. Not a whole lot of good news here. I do feel like you're moving into the potential here. We're seeing a lot of that, but these aren't easy emotions, right? So hang in there. I'm rooting for you, Aries, and I hope that was helpful. I hope it helps to validate and support someone out there that is going through a big release process at this time. I will see you next time. Bye.